Nier's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he had been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once, he had been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now felt small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Wise was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Nier to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Wise muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Nier snapped. "Okay, Wise, calm it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk." Nier leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. "How can this stupid forest be so big?" he muttered to himself. The moment the words stumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared out at a volume that rattled his teeth. Nier slapped his hand over his ears and screamed to be heard. "Wise, what's going on?" Nier could see the Wise's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled. And then, just as Nier's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. I don't know how to do that sound, sorry. I am not doing that. Insect sounds or something. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Nier began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise, it's something else. The insects weren't just calling out, they were asking a question. One with it is lacking, two with it is ideal, three with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place? Then I leave it to you to answer. One with it is lacking, two with it is ideal, three with it is dangerous. What is it? The answer is a secret, a seesaw. How should I know? A secret? Inwardly furious that Wai left the test to him, Nier sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It is a secret. Right? The sound of the insects stopped as suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Nier like a rippling wave, opening a new path. "These forest arthropods are making a road for us," said Wise with glee. Pleased at passing the task, Nier moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. "I guess the forest has accepted us, huh?" said Nier after a bit. Wise spun around to face his companion. "Do not mistake the will of this forest for some unhappy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads." As Wise finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a large forest spring. Smiling, Nier picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. "Good heavens," said Wise. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. "I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I?" "Absurdly easy," barked Wise. "Now answer it." Nier grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He is right, after all, this one is pretty easy. "I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I?" Where are the letters? Sunlight. Sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. "In all my years," said Y softly, "I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place." "Hey, look!" cried Nier, awaking Vice from his daze. "There is a house or something over there." Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled among the trees. "That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here?" Nier walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Nier, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. "I have 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I?" Nier tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question. "If we wish to engage this man in conversation," said Vice, "it seems we must answer his riddle." "Yeah, I suppose," said Nier. "Well, at least it's an easy one." "I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I?" "A man." The mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. "Correct." With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. "You're the mayor!" cried Nier. The small man slowly shook his head. "I am not the mayor you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself." Sorry? What does that mean?" "It'll make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the death dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance." With that, the man turned on his head and slammed the door behind him. As Nier watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Nier and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. "Good gravy," he cried. "You made it. You actually made it back." His left hand grasped Nier's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge it from the socket, while his right seized Wise by the cover and swung him through the air. "Yeah, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not." The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. "I am just happy you are alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again." Nier withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. "We broke the death dream seal," he said. "At least, I think we did." The mayor's face beamed as Nier filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the 3 of them lay down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Nier cocked his head. "Okay, hang on a second, this is crazy. Why would we just lay down and go to sleep?" "Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself." Nier and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. "Have you forgotten?" continued Vice. "It is words that control the death dream. Words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue." With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. "This is the first time," began the mayor, "the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here." His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Nier shook the mayor's shoulder gently. Good news, he said. I think we made it. Oh wow, said the mayor in an awed voice. We did it, I'm back. He blinked once and then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. You two have no idea how much this means. The death dream was spreading through our village, and I want to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream. The mayor started to stand, then collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, then glanced at Nier and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. Real life may take some getting used to, said the mayor as a wry smile crossed his lips. You shall relearn in short order, I am sure, said Weiss. For now, you should return to your home and rest. No, said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them. The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. This is a holy tree, he explained when the prayer was finished. It's the guardian of our village's story and memories. Superstition will only make our mission harder, muttered Weiss. We should not put our faith in the gods. The mayor shook his head. Not the gods, the words. Legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as a sealed verse. Nier and Weiss could not contain their surprise. It seemed that Go had been found in the most unexpected of places. I say, muttered Weiss, this is certainly a stroke of luck. As the three of them said their goodbyes, Nier mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle and the mysterious words he had left them with. I once saw a version of you that was not yourself, muttered the mayor. What in the world does that mean? Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. You know, he said softly, this is going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I had seen you before too. Nier tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's just some kind of illusion created by the death dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Nier gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly, his thoughts were racing. There is something wrong about the mayor and his words. And what exactly is going on here? That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Obtain the sealed verse. Obtain dark execution magic. Nice. Dark execution. Summon magical spikes from the ground to impale enemies, charged to increase the number of spikes. Good stuff.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Okay, so have you got anything else?
Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most...
I know.
Nope, nothing else. So, now we have to talk to the other villagers and see what's up with them. Don't we? Oh no, return to Popular. What a thing! I know, there are more things to do here. Well, let's talk to everybody and see what they have.
This person must be dreaming too.
Yeah, we have more things here.
It would appear that way, yes.
Yes, let's do this.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sorta creeps me out.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside, I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior. I claw at the door of my jail, embedding the fixed splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help, I laugh, I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry, for the love of all the gods, help me. Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly cracks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy and a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss, this is Nier. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Nier extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. I never thought to hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. There is so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment with delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know, and sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound. Whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed east. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Let's try east again. At the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all of the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem of the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chair upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat up to the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate dinners were dead when the meal began. Or if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasped frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment. Though, in truth, I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Against all hope, we make it to the front door. "Break it down," someone cries, and so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Nier and Grimoire Weiss, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west, I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. "How can I thank you?" I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would surely have died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters, and sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. "Your dress?" asked Weiss. "Then you are a woman, madam." "I am." I proffer the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Nier is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description. But he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth on our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades.
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Okay. Anything, ma'am?
Thank you so much for saving me. I never want to have a dream like that again.
Sure thing. Does this count as a side quest? I wonder. Let's check completed quests. Herbal. Nope, it does not.